MaJaMa Jams is brought to you by Christ. Get the holy water.
This episode of MaJaMa Jams is also brought to you by the letter Q. And also by the letter T, the letter H, the letter E, the letter W, the letter I, the letter N.
We got it!
The letter G, the letter E, the letter D, the letter
We
S.
get it!
The letter S, the letter E, the letter R, the letter P, the letter
Shut
E,
up!
the letter N.
Get out of here! Get out! Hello?
And the letter T.
MaJaMa. MaJaMa. MaJaMa.
Welcome back, everyone, to MaJaMa Jams, a show where we discuss other people's work to avoid doing our own. Now, guys, if you look around at our paper-filled set here, you will find it has been peppered with some spooky items, and that can mean only one thing. It is the start of spooky season where everything on Earth shuts down to feature lots of pumpkins, jack-o'-lanterns, witches, ghosts, pumpkins. We have special cups. And, you know,
Pumpkin spice Diet Coke.
it probably exists.
Probably.
I don't think you'd like it, though.
No.
Now, to let you guys into my personal life, as I like to do sometimes, I bought a new t-shirt for the event today, as you guys can see. And then Matthew said it looks terrible, like someone designed it on MS Paint, and even though I'm not the designer, I still spent $22 on this thing.
Dude, what?
Congratulations.
So, you know...
Where'd you buy it from?
The Halloween store.
Just
Oh,
to
that's
have a
why,
receipt.
man.
And I almost went with a Halloween 78, which looks cool too. I was going to buy both. I'm going to need them for next week, but $40. And then you say that. And then he says that.
I'll show you what t-shirt I have. You can use those.
It's on camera.
How are we? You shut up.
So guys, welcome to Spooky Season. We're glad that you guys are here with us on this couch. Hello to Paulo, who I know is celebrating Halloween, and Spectre out there in his amazing room. Logan, anyone else that happens to be watching, we love all of our regular people. And so we are kicking off a month of not one, not two, not three, not four, but 5, guys. This year, 5, meaning that that fifth Thursday falls on Halloween. So,
That's it? No, not exactly.
welcome to the celebration. What are we kicking off with? You may remember that all the way back on episode 25 to celebrate a quarter of a way
No one
to
does.
100. No one remembers except, once again, for Paulo.
We barely remember.
We barely remember. I had to double check, but we did a coin toss of 2 Larry Cohen movies, Mateo. Those 2 movies were number 1, the one that the episode became.
The stuff.
Exactly. Iconic the stuff. And number 2, which did not make the cut, is today's episode. Coming
It's
full
still
circle.
number 2.
Still number 2. Very funny, because I had a bad time. It is Q the Winged Serpent, also by the god Larry Cohen. And it's going to be an interesting one, guys, because it started off old creature feature Jason, as they call me in the art here. And then, throughout the course of it, we're going to get into it. My Italian counterpart here, my Italian counterpart here, as usual, introduced us to this beautiful...
It really looks like they were done with the middle design, and they're like, oh, we got to get more in there. Throw this awful drawn machete, and then just throw a hatchet on
I
the side
actually
of
liked it, and I was happy with my color scheme with the tans, but, you know.
At the store, they're still laughing about it.
It was just one guy, but he's probably having a private chuckle. Damn it, I should have saved my receipt. No, it's fine. I'm happy with it. Damn you, Mateo. Come on, synopsis. Hit us with it.
Oh, yeah.
And any behind-the-scenes info you have with your gorgeous brain.
Or, you know, don't.
Or we could just skip and keep talking about our cups.
Yes. So in New York, there is a double threat that then merge. There is a gang that is trying to steal some diamonds, I would guess.
Neil's diamonds.
Neil's diamonds. And then there are...
Do you think that was a real name, or that's a Naked Gun joke? It's not,
I don't know.
it's not impossible. There was a place called Neil Diamonds. It's very funny, though.
And then there are people who are vanishing, or they are getting beheaded, or they get dismembered, and they don't find it.
Head.
Fell off.
His head has come off.
And they don't find the remains. And on the case are Richard Roundtree, Shaft, and David Carradine. he died using his shaft. And thank you. Good night, everybody. I can't even say everybody. And they are following the robbers, mainly Michael Moriarty, who escapes on top of the Chrysler building. The easiest place where to escape, I guess. Oh, I'm chased by the police. Where should I go? On top of the Chrysler buildings. What a question.
I'm almost afraid of everything, but I've never been afraid of heights.
And he finds the nest of Quetzalcoatl, the Winged Serpent, which is a mythical creature. For some reason is one, but it lays eggs, so I don't know if it's hermaphrodite or not, but because usually
maybe just asexual reproduction?
Possibly.
Maybe it's not, it's eggs.
A mythical creature? You mean like a woman who keeps her mouth shut?
Write him your comments, not on MaJaMa Jams.
Will you shut up?
Pot. Kettle.
You're not black.
If only.
And you would smoke all the pot.
Guilty.
So they find out that there is a sorcerer priest-ish who convinced people to sacrifice
Gross
themselves.
little imp.
As
Yes.
often happens.
Yes, to sacrifice themselves to this winged serpent. So apparently, thanks to that bloodline, its life gets keeps going on, and eventually they all converge on top of the Chrysler building, a huge shootout and stuff, and then they kill the priest and supposedly Quetzalcoatl.
I didn't even realize
dies.
Q was dead. The credits rolled, and I was like, wait, I was waiting for the climax.
But there is an egg somewhere else. Because for some reason, I understand...
They jacked that ending from Godzilla 98. They time traveled.
Yes, exactly. I understand, since it's an Aztec creature, it mistakes the Chrysler building for an Aztec tomb, as they are identical.
The building it dies on top of it looks more like one.
Yes. But then it lays an egg on a dilapidated building that we see at the end from
It's
above.
like a haunted mansion.
Yeah, exactly. Something like that.
I guess trying to spread the seed around, you know?
Possibly. And that's it. And Michael Moriarty has still the face of a 60-year-old who tries to dress up as a man.
Yeah,
the head of a hot air balloon.
We should say that our star here once again is Michael Babyface Moriarty, who you know broke through into acting at age 36 when he was cast as the Gerber baby, as his big starring role. And ever since then, he was cast in about 87 different Larry Cohen movies, always with a different wig, and his head getting bigger every time, until eventually they had to digitally remove the handlers that were keeping his giant head from swaying off on the screen.
How's he run with that thing?
I don't know, but the last role that I remember, he was the Stay Post Marshmallow Man at the end of the first Ghostbusters.
What? He totally had me that was a factoid. Well, it's because I know that this dude has actually talked to the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, and all he had to do was go like this, and the Stay Puft Man went like this because he knew what that meant. You don't know what that meant, but it's a really cool moment.
And you never will.
It's a really cool moment. We're not even going to tell you.
Cut the shit!
But Mateo knew. So, this episode is actually going to be centered around Michael Babyhead Moriarty, because we quickly realized this is not Q's movie. This is Michael Moriarty's movie. Now, I should say, I don't mind him. I think he's got a good performance. I think he's got a fun performance. I think he's got a committed performance. There's nothing wrong with that.
Oh, no, absolutely.
Nothing wrong with it.
Everybody is having fun.
Just...
What else?
Look, we start off pretty rapid-fire decapitatings, and I was all in. I was like, this is the sweet spot. We got a practical monster. We're jumping right into the decapitations.
Is rats all over again.
This is flour! It's flour! It's fabulous! Here, there's some flour in your hair.
Look, I'm all white! I'm whiter than all of you!
A lot of decapitations?
No,
Rats
but it
was so
started
bad.
with the first 10
Rats
minutes.
was so
God,
bad.
God, man.
Such a slog.
No, but it started with.
Yes, yeah.
Well, let me get this straight. You're talking about human sacrifice now.
As it went on, I started to realize that,
You know?
once again, creature feature, the discussion is the ratio. And it started off really good, but it nosedived off. And a lot of Michael Moriarty.
I might have another job.
Now, his performance is very, I think he relished it. It's a good actor's part. You can really sink your teeth in. But there's just so much of him. And I think at a certain point, we just stopped cutting back to Q. Like, standard thing is plot moves along, cut the scene of killing him. Plot moves along, cut the scene of killing him. The Voorhees theory, talk, random teen stab, talk, random teen stab.
Is more the sci-fi TV movie.
Sci-fi TV, or, a lot of stuff in general as you dole
Definitely,
out
definitely,
your creature star. This, I feel, really dropped the ball.
You ever drop a cantaloupe from 40 stories?
We now return to MaJaMa.
Did you guys feel the same, where it kind of really started off strong?
God.
And I know you did.
God.
But Mateo, you've seen this before. Did you have a similar effect when you first watched it? Because to me, it really just...
And it was 92 minutes.
Yes. Well, there is a time traveling thing. When you know how to drink from a straw, right?
I don't think he does.
Okay.
It's been a while.
I see. When I saw the movie the first time, it was fine. We had those rhythms back then in the 80s.
This is 82?
Yes, something like that. And
Don't yell at him like that.
we were used to those rhythms,
I'm sorry.
pace of movies and stuff.
What am I supposed to say? Thank you?
Seeing it with the eye of today, you say, "Oh my God, this is slow. This is a slog." So there is this.
But it's kind of bookended, because, look, we should say, correct me if I'm wrong, Q is stop motion.
Yes.
Beautiful. Absolutely
And some-
beautiful dragon.
when is the shadow is just like animation, traditional like cartoon.
So, stop motion Q against the New York skyline, decapitating heads. I think we're bookended very nicely. It completely grabbed me in the beginning with the killings. The end, there's a bunch of dude on the Chrysler Tower shooting at this thing as it goes around. Great. They do those scenes well. And like you said, the
Why
cast
would
is
they
all
call
game.
the army for this? The local police force is going to take out a giant winged serpent monster?
Then we hired a bunch of off-duty police officers because they've come in uniform.
The cops bring their uniform and they just get their extra pay.
The middle. The
middle
middle
the
of
weirdest
this
thing to
movie.
me is that, like, what you're saying about Michael Moriarty, performance is really good, but it seems like it's an interesting character study of a somewhat
desperate to be classic desperate to stop being a nobody.
Yeah, and who's kind of been spit upon his entire life, but like, why is that in this movie? And like, is that supposed to be our protagonist that we actually care about or follows? Like, there's nothing really redeemable necessarily about him.
Well, even
he doesn't really flip in the end.
I'm just a little kid from the streets. I'm out there with a lot of other guys shouting into the wind, and nobody here was listening, right?
He makes a good point,
Yeah.
because I want to say that the performance is really good. He's very committed, but it is strange because, yeah, you're almost like, you're doing a good job, but why? It almost feels like that becomes the focal point, as if this should be like almost a Scorsese drama about a guy that's been put up, almost a friggin' a taxi driver.
When I saw Q and the stuff, I was kind of intrigued by how he worked with Michael Moriarty and kind of guided him as he went along the course and around the bend and out over the bend, so to speak. I mean, you feel like he really could spin out of control.
It's almost a taxi driver type energy,
but you think that storyline would almost parallel with the idea of Q coming into the city?
Mm-hmm.
Like there would be some more of a link to kind of connect those two through lines.
Also, we got to say, you saw it, then you can't turn it off. You guys tell me, you'll show the clips. This dude is Bill Burr.
Yeah.
Now, he looks a little bit like him aesthetically, but the voice he picks...
Bill Burr, Megamind, Michael Moriarty.
Oh.
That massive
Confused me for a second,
forehead.
and completely, that's hysterical. But I could not stop hearing the Bill Burr.
My wife like pops up. She's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Look at this! Look at this!" She's talking to a gorilla, and we both just got sucked into this thing, right?
I'm gonna be on television. I'm gonna be on all the shows. Yeah. You're just jealous, Shepard. Jealous?
So it's a very interesting experience because in the middle part,
Funny if he has that smaller Bill Burr face too, and the way he talks.
you know, there's this friggin' serpent. I mean, these women, they come in, they tell me I have a friggin' serpent, but there it is, cute.
It's that cadence. It's perfect.
And so to me, that's the discussion of it because it really is his circus. It's his show. I don't know. It's strange.
I've always had the idea that Larry Cohen had two concepts for two movies. One, it was kind of like the life of a gangster or whatever, is not gangster per se, but a low-life robber and who wants to become a piano player.
Leave my baby alone.
And then this idea of the Winged Serpent.
Yeah.
And then he took...
And I mean, it's kind of a cool idea to put it in like that, where you do a different type of stereotypical story as opposed to just a cop or a army man or random nobody's caught up inside this or a scientist. So it's an interesting kind of mashup, but...
And that wasn't my idea.
It just didn't work because you want to see Q, and you don't see Q.
That's the main thing, is there really is a section where he just, like I said, do the normal thing. Okay, we had a little bit of plot, so just throw, even if it's a quick decapitation, but there really is a part where he just drops out of the movie.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if that was a pacing problem, or it's the usual, like, hey, we don't have the budget for that many shots.
Yeah.
This is
one
always the creature
was
feature
that
problem.
one, and the other one is that I think that, surprisingly enough, because these movies usually are the opposite, there is too much story.
You don't seem at all surprised by this. Why is that?
All the... It made a...
Yes.
All the... No, not you.
No, to your point, I was agreeing with.
All the events that involves Michael Moriarty take time, even if there is not a full resolution, but it keeps going, pile up, and if you add more monster, then you get another 92 movies, 92 minutes movie, but you get something like 100 and something. So
like, it's weird, like, they want us to care, but I just didn't.
Why is that?
And then, like, wait, is Carradine supposed to be the protagonist? Like, no. And Richard Roundtree is just like, oh, after all this, pick him up, throw him over a building, and that's how he dies.
Richard Roundtree, yes, he has a very, very...
I was
kind of like,
gonna say that's a henchman death. That's not like one of your protagonist's death. That was,
or at least to die while you're fighting more.
Yeah, and it's not like,
courageously.
I mean, they played him kind of as a dick with how he's treating Moriarty when he's in custody, but it's kind of just a weird way to send him off. So
you
quick
like being slapped around, don't you?
Yeah. And then the one transition where they break in to find the priest, and he somehow outruns them and eludes them, and then Q's going after them. I think that's when he kills Roundtree, and then there's that one death, and then just cuts to nighttime. Like, wait, what? Okay, we're gonna just move on like that.
And then the priest never dies.
Yeah.
At the end,
I mean, maybe he's magic. I mean,
possibly.
He brought Q back from.
Well, we could do a double
Somewhere.
feature of movies where priests are the culprit with this and Nightmare Beach.
Yes.
I think
that's about it.
I think I recently caught Alien.
I guess I just couldn't care. I just couldn't care at a certain point. Just done. Just get your giant head off the screen. I'm done. He was more fun to watch in the
That's 5 sweaty
80s
palms.
stuff. Ace. What?
80s.
80s. What is it?
The stuff.
Oh, the stuff.
That's a lot of sweaty palms.
No, I thought they were saying it was fun to watch it in the 80s when it came out.
No, yeah, in the stuff. He was, yeah.
Yes.
Sweaty palms.
Yeah, I got it.
Sweaty palms.
Oh, this is some place you got here, fellas. This is, gosh, let me, that's a sweaty palm. That's two sweaty palms. Let me feel. Ah, that's another sweaty palm. Yes, sir. Hello, sweaty palms.
I saw the Alien re-release for the 45th anniversary on the big screen.
What's that supposed to mean?
And I think I might say, because I'm thinking about the creature ratio problems and, you know, the back and forth and the story versus the creature, I think maybe Alien, the first one, is the best creature feature ever made. Because I feel like the pacing, the doling out of the creature scenes, the effectiveness of the creature scenes, the likability and humanity of the cast, the escalation, the claustrophobia, thinking of the problems of the creature ratio here, and thinking of how... thinking of how bad it got, thinking of how that's always the problem, I think Alien's the best ever. Although I think Godzilla -1 came close with a ratio. Although the funny thing is, I looked up the Godzilla ratio chart once. It exists on the internet. And after you guys talked about how little he was in 2014 with much vehemence, it's actually the same exact amount of time as he's in -1.
Wrong!
I know you're going to say it's the framing around it, so it doesn't matter that you said that. I get it. It's the framing around it, but still it's the exact amount of time.
It's the framing around it.
Still,
what do you mean the framing?
You guys would not stop talking about how little Godzilla there was.
Well, you also, in 2014, you get a leg, as opposed to Godzilla.
A leg. Anyway, we're not going to get into all that. But the point is that...
I'm glad to.
You brought it up.
I just had to stick to you guys with that at least once because it's literally the exact same amount of time. I know your counter-argument says it negates
It's done
mine.
completely differently. Half the time when you see Godzilla, the door's closing on him and you don't see his entire body or anything.
Doubtful, but okay.
Let me get this straight.
So this is always a problem, this creature feature ratio. It is rarely ever done masterfully as it does in Alien, and this could have been a fantastic B movie because it has all the elements, and the deaths were great. The way they handled decapitations were perfect. Really dropped the ball in the middle. Why did you do that, Cohen?
I would certainly say that Q is probably the best big monster movie after King Kong.
We now return to MaJaMa.
Also, why not zero in more, as I said, looking at the picture, you guys can't see, but in Silence of the Hams, I think Ezio would have done better to center in on Billy and Dom. They're very charming together, and they work, and they're talented actors.
Dr. Animal. Call me A.
A?
Also, call me Doctor.
A doctor.
Dr. A.
Excuse me, Dr. A.
Bingo.
Dr. A. Bingo?
Moving on.
I think Carradine and Roundtree here make a nice little cop duo.
Yeah.
They don't electrify the screen.
No,
but I
but
like them, and I think
yeah.
he would have done well to not pull away from Moriarty entirely. I like his performance, but give
having
us more of the
yeah.
cop, center it in the procedural, be like, we're trying to figure out what this
No,
is.
absolutely.
Because the attention given to Moriarty's character makes this a character study. And again, it's not done bad, but you're like, as to Matthew's point, what is it doing here? Why are we hyper-focusing on
And it's funny because a lot of times when we watch this stuff, we're like, oh, give us something like this. But it just seems so far off and just compact in terms of this is its own story, disconnected to Q, that it just seems awkward.
You're a little dense, you know that?
Would you please come over here? Let's keep
Just
it
a
down.
little.
Keep
Just a little.
And like the whole, like he's not likable. He doesn't really redeem himself.
No, I don't.
He's not.
Sometimes you guys.
I wouldn't say he's like an awful person because he's trying, but then there's the whole like him and the girl, and he's like been abusing her the whole time, and she keeps coming
that I
back with
found
him.
unlikable. That
And
actually
like,
was.
Please don't hit me again.
It's a movie either with unlikable people or people you don't care whether they succeed or not.
Yeah.
I just thought it would be an interesting idea to combine cinema noir with a science fiction monster picture. I thought the Chrysler Building was better looking than the Empire State Building and deserved its own monster.
Like, for instance, when Richard Roundtree dies, granted, is almost dismissive, but you feel nothing.
Yeah.
You don't say.
I feel nothing.
Although, in fairness, like I said, I feel enough to be like, that's the death he
Yeah.
gave me. He's like a main character. It's interesting because we all kind of had the same reaction of like, that's a death
I mean, it's like
relegated
Q was
for a
like,
disposable.
Bing, and that was it.
Yes, fine. Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
A fly.
Okay. All right.
Speaking of, we were off camera. Speaking of Orca and that horrible scene, how did you guys feel when that baby dragon was hatching to just be tat 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 tat? Man, sad as hell. Sad as hell.
It's kind of gross, though.
It's a little cute. Let's talk about Q. Let's talk about the craftsmanship behind it.
I think it's a cool design.
Yeah.
There were a couple scenes at the end there where the white dragon is flying amongst the New York skyline.
White?
It's white, isn't it?
No.
Gray.
It's like a gray, green, olive something.
All right, well, you could see the scale.
Do your eyes even function?
Actually, today my contacts are quite blurry.
Oh, sorry.
Usually when they started blurring like this, it means they're on their
Wait.
way out and I don't have a backup pair. Can you imagine, no matter what the outfit is, I have to wear glasses. I don't have the option of this. So,
I can.
Q
I can't.
was a physical model made with stop motion. Were there any practical ones throughout, like for a close-up shot?
There
of
were
something?
a claw.
right?
Definitely, it was practical.
The pull snatch was very cool
Yeah.
with the claw.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I'm saying, is that the intro really got it right. And I felt like it even had like it's a little bit dated, but it's in a great way.
And, which is a funny little thing, that they actually shot it inside the Chrysler building.
Okay.
That seems weird to do.
Yeah, but probably...
I guess to get the perspective of New York skyline.
One is that, and two, I guess that for the budget that they had, it was cheaper to pay for the permit to shoot in there than rebuilding the whole thing.
Empty shell cartridges. There was blanks, of course, but that were raining down into the streets of New York. The police were summoned. Lots of stuff happened, and eventually the city shut us down because we created such an uproar.
Who's not going to love Hollywood terrorized New York on the front page of the Daily News?
Also, I should say, the thing that kicks off his plotline, I actually thought was very cool. He's running away from the botched robbery.
Yeah.
He's trying to escape. He runs up into the building. Eventually, this also great friggin' explicit gore on the oh, didn't think of that. They have the removing of the flesh, which
the skin.
is one of the greatest. Again, sometimes it's simple, but the fact is actually happening. Something is being removed from a human, and I thought the skinned body looked appropriately gross
On the bed.
on the bed.
I like the skeleton. I think the skeleton looked better. Because it still had some nice, it looked like a chicken bone you had been picking at. Where it still had meat on it.
I liked both. In fact, that's what I was saying, is that the gore and
It
effects
seemed too dry, I think.
had me, and Michael's ascent into the tower, finding the egg, finding the body. I'm like, this is great. This is juicy. This is how I like it to proceed. You can even do, okay, I have a piece of information. I can finally be a somebody. He just leaned into it so
Like you
hard.
said,
It's an actor's showcase.
If you pair them up with either Roundtree or Carradine or both, and then have the whole thing of them having to solve the mystery, they're bringing him everywhere for some reason, and then you have that character played off of cops who are like, this guy's
played off him. Yes,
is a classic f up.
It should have been.
We gotta learn how to trust him or something.
Yeah, probably you forgot about it because I think you fell asleep when we watched it. How dare you?
It's probably not wrong. I was going to say it, but he's probably right.
Lethal Weapon 2.
That was easy. Don't you want to see a badge? Don't do that again.
Okay, let me see a badge.
Shut up.
Okay, I get it. Bad cop, good cop.
Shut up.
Okay. Bad cop. I got it. I know all those routines.
You Leo Getz?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's me, Leo Getz.
When they put Joe Pesci with Mel Gibson and Danny Glover, and all of a sudden from a bizarre duo it becomes a trio, where Joe Pesci is a witness and is under witness protection, and they have to defend him. But the whole movie they go bickering, they don't like each other, and they start to. So it could have been an interesting trio adventure.
Yeah, I completely agree. Joe Pesci's done a lot of comedy, huh?
Call Larry Cohen. Oh, he's dead.
I liked Roundtree next to Carradine.
Yes.
Had a little more life to him.
David Carradine isn't bad, but he also doesn't necessarily pop.
Yeah.
I want to thank you for the information.
In general? What do you mean in this?
This one was.
I haven't seen him in anything other than Bill. Sometimes
it was before he stopped caring.
Before he stopped.
David, before we sign you on to this, is this your not caring period? Oh, you do? Okay, sign him.
No, because after a while he did movies that it's infamous that he was almost always drunk on set. He couldn't possibly care less.
Then my next question is, was Kill Bill the Travolta effect for him? Was that a resurrection from the depths?
Yes, even if...
Did he die shortly after that?
Yes, exactly.
Like real quick after?
I don't want to...
I think on screen.
I may be completely wrong, but I'm pretty sure, I am 88% sure that Quentin Tarantino wrote Bill for Warren Beatty.
Really?
And David Carradine was kind of like a replacement
But,
of that.
correct me if I'm wrong, isn't there a direct line, especially with how Tarantino fetishized old stuff? Wasn't Carradine the star of Kung Fu, the TV series? Drawing a direct line between Bill the Kung Fu Master? I only say that because it seems like that's complete
Probably.
Tarantino to be like,
You see, I used to watch this show. I used to watch the show Kung Fu, and David Carradine, he was just great, So I'm writing the script, like, who's gonna be Bill? Who's gonna be Bill? And I said, I got it. David Carradine. David Carradine's gonna be Bill.
Right,
Feet.
all your criticism.
Why do you always put down my impressions, man? Let's hear you do one.
They leave a bad impression.
Nice. Do it. Embarrass yourself. You do one too. Let's see who's the king on this couch of bad impressions.
Okay, man, you're doing a great job.
My Tarantino is only aping Norm. We've said this before on the show, so
An
don't show
impression
the
of an Italian.
Oh my God! I come to America for pizza, but it's not like it is back home. Mama, I need a good pizza.
Mateo? Did you guys switch spots?
Wow, it looked like looking in a mirror.
Somebody really did a professional job on your ass, huh?
It's incredible.
All right, let's talk. I like that you brought that up because I was going to say I actually didn't find Michael that likable, but I did find... What?
I didn't know what you were talking about that he brought up.
I did find the interaction with the woman to be... I did find that with you, where it's just like, oh, dude, we just got to watch this girl being smacked around by this loser and like just breaking things in the apartment. And that I did kind of find like, okay, why...
Okay, so they changed you! Why smash up the whole apartment?
How do you like that asshole lawyer? Just handing them their money back!
Yeah, like at that point, how are we supposed to side with him?
Yeah.
His redemption story, them being a couple, even at the end, like, no, Carradine's like, no, she's waiting for you. Go to her, man. Like, no, I'm gonna try to find a job next time I want to see her. I want to be employed. Like,
Come on, I'll take you back to your girl.
No, I'm not going by there.
What are you talking about?
Well, we're not good for each other. She's doing me favors all the time. I'm getting into trouble. I got her in there.
dude, who gives a shit?
Well,
like,
hold
you're
on,
a piece of shit.
You, as the classical person, not classical. As the classic person getting annoyed by unlikable characters, I'm curious, where did your distaste for him fall in this particular instance?
It
kind of grating, or
yeah, up to that point, it was tolerable. After that, you say, all right, I really don't care. Okay. And frankly, the first time I saw the movie, I was sure, I was always, when I was a smarmy kid trying to second guess the script, I was thinking that somehow, I don't know how, but he would have redeemed himself by saving her from Q.
Huh.
I was saying that's how.
Yeah.
So
that would have been good.
Yeah, I was saying.
Yeah, once again, like it's like we had a script for him, his story, and then like, oh, let's throw in a winged serpent into this.
Is that what happened?
I don't know.
It's weird. Like, there's no redemption with them. There's no
There's not no happy ending, no unhappy ending.
Well, the funny thing is, even being the creature feature freak, that's most of what I want to discuss because it's so centered around. I'm trying to think of an example. It's almost like, okay, Jaws is actually known for that. Jaws is what it is because it's centered around three great characters, but I guess that's a bad example because it's almost like a bad version of Jaws where it's like, hey, Jaws is actually more of a character study between these three men as opposed to a shark movie. In that case, it works. This is almost like the anti-Jaws where it becomes more of a character study, but it's like, why are we with this guy all the time? Because I'm trying to think of an example to let them know, anyone who hasn't seen it, like how much we focus in on this dude for a movie about a winged serpent.
And for
like
standard monster movie fare, it seems like a weird character to give an audience to be like, oh, you want him to be likable, relatable, and somewhat empathetic for him.
You mean that?
But I feel like I should keep saying that Michael Moriarty clearly took to this role with relish for the fact that it was a juicy role. So it's a weird thing because I can't say he did badly or that it was a bad role. It's just, if this movie was called, what was the dude's name of the movie?
Case in point?
Quinn,
right? If this movie was called Quinn,
the Winged Serpent.
Like, if you title it after him, I wouldn't even... Yeah, that makes sense. That's how much we follow him, so...
It should have been The Redemption of Quinn. Oh, and there is a Winged Serpent.
Yeah.
You're not even... That's the thing, dude. It's not even a joke. That's how the movie plays.
Huh?
We now return to MaJaMa.
We did it! We did it! Okay, everybody hold their positions. Everybody stay right where you are, all right? Don't move.
It's bookended with Q. I would love to know how long he drops out where we don't see Q for, like, what is the counter? Because...
I mean, I think even in the first half hour, like, wait, who am I... What is
Yes.
happening? Am I supposed to follow the cop story of them trying to solve this
Is
weird
the
mystery
beginning.
trail?
This movie is the beginning of tentacles stretched as a movie. The first 2 shots of tentacles are 58 seconds. I kid you not, 58 seconds of a camera filming a radio, and then finally.
Is it on at least?
Yes. Okay. There is the a guy on a taxi cab that takes the taxi cab, and you see it goes from the ocean. He moves to the radio. It stays 58 seconds on the radio. He moves back when the car stops. The door opens. You see only the legs of a white, I think, white trousers and shoes with spats. He get off. Very mysterious. You never see him again for the rest of the movie. You don't know who that is. And he has but it's played as this, ooh, what is this mysterious thing? And then he goes completely away. This is the same thing. It sets up everything, and he forgets to actually give you a satisfactory ending.
What to focus on.
Shut up!
It looks like that they ended the movie one reel soon, but because they say, oh, we already killed whatever.
Also, this is
we killed the monsters.
Par for the course
whatever.
for me, but I was like, wait, they killed Q?
It was done a little weird because like he comes, they're shooting at him, he comes back around, he loops around a couple of times, he jumps in Carradine's face and he starts shooting him, and then he starts flying away.
Does he fall?
Like,
I feel like there'd be a
he
big,
falls
again,
on
King Kong. Oh, we see it, like, I was literally like, wait, they killed Q? What did I miss?
Because
why are credits rolling?
There's a scene where he's kind of like, you almost think he's going to fall into the middle of the traffic. They're showing like the scene of all the cars moving, and he falls on top of that building that looks like a Mayan or Aztec temple. But then they cut to something else where it kind of distracts you from what
On
just
page
happened.
87, it says, cut to, did someone write something in here?
What are you talking about?
Whatever we have.
There was a note at work the other day on stuff that was supposed to be done that just said a ceiling tile is missing, and then parentheses, I don't remember which one. I'll try to remember that. And I was like, you have any idea the amount of tiles are in the ceiling? Just spend a good 8 hours. Yeah. Alan? Yeah, this is weird. It's weird that a monster movie discussion is centered around Michael Big Head Moriarty, who I think if we saw a video of him in a diaper and naked otherwise, none of us would stop laughing for about 6 years.
That was his show reel.
That's it?
Are you going to speak or just sit there in the diaper?
No. Listen, me and you have to find the Screw You Taxpayer skit for Mateo for this episode so we can give people the visual of Kevin as the baby. Wah, wah, wah. Imagine this dude is that with his big baby head. We'll find the thing. We will.
You won't find it.
We won't find it.
You won't
we will
remember
find
it in 5 minutes.
He has it there. It's Screw You Taxpayer.
I can start watching the whole series for now and not blinking.
Listen. You guys have to picture this guy as a giant baby. That's the whole point of this episode. Don't worry about the serpent. Just picture him in an
literally
oversized
like he's wearing
diaper.
a kid's Halloween toupee.
Yeah.
Just the way his
forehead
is
There was
protruding.
a whole thing you showed us in the stuff commentary about Cohen saying how he asked for a different wig every time and then Moriarty denying it. I don't know where he got that wig crap. Remember that?
Yeah.
Michael Moriarty is actually 3 kids, one top of the other, with a trench coat. And
with a baby on top.
We did it. We got into Hollywood. First the movie theater, first the R-rated movie, then Hollywood.
I'll be playing piano somewhere. I'm pretty good.
And then he's the whole cast of the Little Rascals.
Larry, how many times you gonna let 3 kids in a trench coat onto your set as an otherwise established actor?
And I'll have my lawyer sue your ass. Hey, you do that.
Don't you have a wardrobe department?
Fool me once. Well, you had an amusing anecdote about who was it, Rex Reed?
Don't put words in his mouth.
Oh,
Mr. Rex Reed in this movie.
I feel uncomfortable watching us all drink out of straws for some reason.
Oh, dude, wait till Mateo watches the footage of because the first time I did it, this dripped out like friggin'.
It looks like a limp.
And so the last sip I had, I was like, he'll laugh. He'll see it.
I'm laughing now.
Sorry, Rex Reed of The Observer.
Yes, I think so. Yeah, he told the producer there was I just saw the Winged Serpent. There was a Drek with a wonderful performance by Michael Moriarty, and Samuel Arkoff said that the Drek was my idea. And,
I know Drek. Damn it.
I have never heard that word before.
No?
Is it D-R-E-K?
CK.
CK?
Yeah, CK.
Definition?
It's kind of like a wreck, but with the R.
They just changed the word.
Yes.
This is how you make words?
Yes.
All right, how about bird? Now it's rebird. That doesn't even make sense. That's how you made Drek.
You know, that's an interesting angle.
This is a surreal improv right here.
Yes.
Makes
no sense.
You know, Matthew, I feel like there was kind of a point in the first 15 minutes where like we said everything I had to say with this weird babyhead movie. Does anyone have anything else to comment on Q? I feel like there wasn't in the end. Like I started off so gung ho. I thought I was going to be rooting.
Is Larry Cohen the producer of Kids and Borat and?
I know exactly what
Charles,
he's saying.
Charles.
Larry Charles is the director of Borat. However, interestingly enough, you are not far off because I believe Lenny Clark is the director. Larry Clark?
I think so.
The director of Kids.
Yes. Too much. Get some different names.
What do you want, Polaroid shots?
Larry Cohen is, he also wrote the same movie twice, and the results are two very cool movies, Phone Booth and Cellular.
Larry Cohen?
Yes.
I think you mentioned that.
This Larry Cohen?
Yes. Phone Booth.
And I was surprised by that on the Stuff episode.
Is the one with
You know, like in the movies, just as the good guy is about to kill the bad guy, he cocks his gun. Now, why didn't he have it cocked? Because that sound is scary.
Who is is trapped in a phone booth with a killer who is actually aiming at him from
He's
a
in the
window.
phone booth with him, right?
Yes. And
I gotta find him!
He
Oh.
can't see him, yes.
Cellular is a pre-MCU Chris Evans?
Yes.
Get the point?
You're playing with fire, kid.
I think we saw it, Sarah, with Kim Basinger, who gets kidnapped, and she calls by mistake.
I think you're thinking of While You Were Out.
That's the other one.
Wouldn't be the first time in history that.
But
wait, damn it, Basinger or Basinger?
Basinger, I think, as far as I know.
Thinking the Simpsons.
I'm trying to think of the Simpsons joke, but I forget how to.
Kim Basinger? It's Basinger.
Basinger.
Bazinga.
I know you! You're Kim Basinger!
It's Basinger.
Oh my god, I'm such a huge fan of yours, Miss Basinger!
Thanks.
Well, definitely Q is not the Giant Claw. Giant Claw was a movie that they made here. And
I was thinking about the Giant Claw throughout this, the monster.
They made it here, and the special effects were made in Mexico, but way after they shot the movie. So all the actors had no idea how the Giant Claw would have looked like. So the whole performances in the Giant Claw is incredibly straight, incredibly dramatic, because they thought, oh, then we're going to have amazing special effects.
Oh.
The performances in the Giant Claw were incredibly straight. I guess that makes it the polar opposite of the Birdcage. Perhaps there was a funnier version where the performances weren't literally gay and I was instead making fun of them with classic 13-year-old humor.
At least how you linked the bird. cage and the bird and the giant claw together. Was that intentional? Or you just picked,
Of course.
You just picked the game. You just picked. You just picked the gay movie.
Yes. You don't believe in any of this stuff, do you?
Well, having piggybacking on that, the reaction scenes and stuff.
Yeah.
From this one was like, oh God, okay.
Yes.
Why was that girl doing push-ups? Why was that guy pissed?
I don't know.
Wait, what scene was that?
The pool scene, man.
Right. That guy was pissed. Maybe he thought it wasn't feminine.
43. I am having such a good time, I can't begin to tell you. 47, 48.
Maybe he thought a push-up bra. And she's
Like-
just like doing push-ups.
In a bra.
In a bra.
But why would a guy be pissed
Yeah.
about
Like
that?
every time they're about to be intimate, she's like, "Look at my biceps." And it's like,
Oh,
"Oh
God.
God!" And then she's like, "Let's go tan by the pool." He's like, "I can't wait to ogle your body." And she's like, "Yeah, my jacked body. Look at the muscles pop." And he's like, "God, I just want a feminine woman with soft curves. Instead, I get you just attacking me every night, just like a friggin' hawk on my back. And why am I the one being penetrated?"
It's also interesting how Q whisks away one of the construction workers on top of the building.
And there's a dude who lost his lunch.
Not only that, yes,
Oh,
the dude
thank you.
loses his lunch.
Sadistic.
But then, mysteriously, part of his leg falls down on the street. Where
Oh, that's his leg?
I think so, because it's just like...
Was he playing frisbee with his dog on a beach?
We found a guy's leg near a beach where he was playing frisbee with his dog.
Oh my God.
But the thing is that he is barefoot. So Q not only kidnapped him, but...
Sock off.
This comes away, the sock, and now I'll drop. I don't know, it's one of those...
I would give anything to see that giant prosthetic claw gingering moving his sock and then just...
I do like the idea
This
of...
little piggy went...
I do like the idea of just body parts randomly raining down on New York City. It's kind of a cool idea.
Yes. See, this could have been amazing.
And it's a different take on it. Like, okay, the authorities are taking this seriously. There are enough claims. There are enough witnesses, obviously. And hey, we're gonna get a meeting about it and figure out what to do. But I still think it's a little ridiculous that the military wasn't called in to handle this or address this, or it's like
Which in the stuff instead is called at the end.
yeah, just for some white sludge.
Yeah.
Come on! Take out behind that truck! Get some men up on the tower! I'm talking about now!
We now return to MaJaMa.
Shit! Oh, jeez!
And then I like the fact that they say, the bird attacks when the sun is down, so you look up and you don't see anything.
Yeah, that's a
And
cool
say-
idea. But then how do you stay in front of the sun?
Exactly. You have to be in front of the sun.
Yeah.
Somebody on a...
Yeah.
who's just like slightly behind the building.
Or
can
that,
see
or yeah,
everything.
or that, yeah.
Calling in the army because of some white sludge. Jesus, in high school, Mom and Dad would have had the National Guard stomping my bedroom because of all the marshmallow fluff I was eating when I was stoned at the time.
That actually sounds really good.
I want to point out the fact that
disgusting because it's kind of parallel with him.
Oh, yes.
This movie
Yeah.
has the most sadistic scene in the history of cinema. This movie has a scene that makes torture porn look like Disney movies from the 70s, where these two bastards take a working man's lunch and then cackle about it, making fun of his wife's tuna sandwich.
You know, his wife makes a damn good tuna sandwich. I'm gonna stop by and see her and tell her about it one of these days.
Let me tell you something, man. You don't take
then make
a
fun of
working
banging
man's
his
lunch,
wife.
making fun of banging another man's wife while eating a blatantly stolen tuna sandwich.
While
you
the poor
sick
dude is getting
bastards.
whisked away and have his sock ripped off by a
You
giant...
don't take a working man's lunch. Sometimes the 20 minutes of lunch is all these people have.
You sons of bitches! If anyone ate that sandwich, I'm gonna shove the thermos up your asses one at a time.
That was disgusting.
That's all I have to look forward to in my day.
It's disgusting. He's just gleefully eating his tuna sandwich while he gets carried away by a friggin' bird.
And they don't come back. The Q doesn't come back and kill them.
No.
Like for
because
monster.
they were just like one story down.
Yes, but for like a monster movie, you'd be like, okay,
Yes.
kill the asshole at least.
No, it's just like it's a movie with unpleasant people.
Yeah.
And it's very
Where are
weird.
we gonna lie on this one, you know?
I
Where's
don't give
Where's
a-
the thing gonna fall?
Are you kidding?
Guys, let's express our feelings by throwing pieces of paper. How is this gonna go? I have no idea. I'm in a bit of a kerfluffle.
I'll start.
Mateo's gonna start.
With, I'll make a sandwich.
Oh, we forgot to rate Mick with pieces of paper. Throw it
That's
in.
funny. That's very funny.
What?
We forgot to rate Mick with pieces of paper.
Yes.
Chuck it in.
I go with 4 because I still like the scenes of the monster.
Agreed.
I like, to a degree, the performance of the 3 characters. And, yeah.
I agree.
With that, it's...
it's
probably a movie that, even if it's a brisk 92 minutes, probably 10 minutes less, something like that. Maybe.
I don't disagree with anything Mateo said. And as usual, he has centered me with the opinions. I think I'm going to copycat. Go 1, 2, not that one. This one, 3, and 4. Kind of the same reasons. I don't feel it deserves the full 5, even being kind of bored, and I want to highlight I love the practical monster scenes, so I'm echoing the Italian with 4. Three-way tie?
And a half. 4.5.
Okay, that's fair for how bored he was.
I hated this film. I would never watch it again or
Wow.
even think about it again.
strong, huh?
If I could go back in time, I would prevent us from watching it. But
You finished.
I loved
Almost.
Q. The action scene at the end was dope.
Yeah.
And it is an interesting character study of Jonathan Trudeau. So 4.5.
Who the hell is Jonathan Trudeau?
The big head. What's his name?
Michael
Moriarty.
Hey, listen, I know you've been a movie critic for a while. Jonathan Trudeau is listed 27 times in this review. No one was called that. I don't want to have to keep calling you.
He has a face...
And who stole my tuna sandwich?
He has a face that looks like Jonathan Trudeau.
You look like a Trudeau.
MaJaMa.
Well, guys, this was perhaps an underwhelming start to our October celebration, but I hope, as usual, it made for good jams. I hope you can get some laughs envisioning Michael Moriarty dressed as a giant baby in an oversized diaper, you know, maybe with a pacifier, plastic bonnet.
Makes me think of Baby Huey.
Yes.
It's a giant body with a big-ass head.
And we can only hope and pray that the cookie of this episode features some image of him in a giant bonnet.
Is he dead?
Is he dead?
I don't think so.
There's still time to get him in a baby suit.
Yes. Quick.
Let's get him on the show.
Buy a wig and call him.
So, guys.
Got something you want.
And the socks and the shoe of the worker. Okay.
Get those pumpkin carving knives out and get your pumpkins ready for your jack-o'-lanterns. Watch out for black cats and make sure you come back next week to your favorite paper-filled couch. Paper-filled couch? Paper-filled couch. It would help if I could do my job without stumbling like a drunkard verbally. But from our couch to yours, happy kickoff of the spooky season. We hope to see you back next week for an all-new jam.
No.
Jam.
He's messing with you.
It's always fun.
MaJaMa. Bayou-badou, 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 bayou-badou.
This dude has actually talked to the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, and all he had to do was go like this, and the Stay Puft Man went like this because he knew what that meant.